Hi guys, so I'm trying a slightly different format which I'm hoping is going to be a little bit more dynamic for you. So today's video is intended to be a bit of assistance for navigating your job hunt as a new graduate nurse. Grad programs truly are not the be-all and end-all of job hunting. They are a pathway in your career as a nurse. They are not the only pathway. I know it's disappointing to not get a program, and I know it's stressful to not have a guarantee of employment when you finish your degree, but nursing is so diverse and there is a place for you. If you didn't get one, I strongly recommend ask for feedback. It is so useful for if you're planning to apply again. Remember that this process, it's not personal. I know it feels deeply personal, but they did not hate you. They didn't decide there was something they didn't like about you. Interviewing works by them awarding points for specific information as per a marking key. They don't deduct points away from you. They may have actually really liked you, but just someone else scored more of the needed points. One of the reasons that interviews are panelled is to reduce any bias. This is a tough competitive process, but I want you to remember that this is more about a system that is failing our new graduate nurses and not giving them the opportunities that they need, as opposed to you personally having failed as a nurse. It is so normal to feel disappointed, sad, frustrated, upset, angry, downhearted, to feel like all of your effort and time and study has been wasted, but it is not a waste. You still have so much to offer as a nurse. Resilience can be defined as the ability to bounce back or cope successfully despite substantial adversity, and research over and over finds that resilience is so key to having a successful nursing career because you are going to face adversity at multiple different times. And resilience, it isn't something we're just born with, it's a learnt skill. So I highly recommend that you spend some time looking into resilience in nursing and how you can build resilience in your own life and in your own career. And I've included some useful links down below. So what are some other areas that you can work in if you didn't get a grad program? Remember, once you're a registered nurse, you can apply for any level 1 registered nurse position advertised at a public hospital. Think rural if you have the capacity to move. There's also your private hospitals, your aged care facilities, your community and home support, GP practices, private surgeries, and organisations such as Silver Chain and Red Cross, all of whom use nurses. You may also be able to get work with an agency. Just make sure if you are going to do agency work that you do get a clear idea of how much support you're going to be provided as a graduate. These may not be the areas that you dreamed of working as a nurse, but every single area has skills to learn. There's opportunities there to grow, and you may discover a passion for that area of nursing, or it may simply be that that helps you to grow as a nurse as you then work towards the area of nursing that you want to be a part of. Some employers that you might not have considered. When I say private hospitals, I don't just mean your big guns like your St John of God and your Ramsay, but also smaller private hospitals like Bethesda, South Perth, the Mount. If you go onto the Department of Health website, you can find all licensed private hospitals and day hospitals in WA. Aged care is a growing area, and one thing the Royal Commission has made clear is we need more nurses. Some of the big names include Juniper, Regis, Brightwater, Amana, and Regent's Garden, but also look into what smaller homes might be in your area. Think about other organisations such as Silver Chain, the Red Cross, Marie Stopes, GP clinics, or another job that I only recently discovered even existed, working as a care coordinator with community organisations, helping disadvantaged populations navigate healthcare. So, what should you do now? Well, you don't have to do anything right now. Take some time to process, to grieve, because yes, not getting a grad program can make you feel grief-stricken. But start working on a plan. Have you already graduated, or are you still just trying to finish up your studies? Where are you going to go from here? If you don't have employment, I do kind of strongly recommend looking into getting a job, any job, although healthcare related might be more useful, because there are going to be costs associated with being a registered nurse, such as paying for your registration again after you've initially registered, professional memberships, and also if you want to do any additional further study or training. I really recommend that you do apply for your registration as soon as you can. At busy times of the year, ARTFRAC can literally take months to process applications. And whether you have your registration or are still waiting can be a make or break for an employer if they're looking at two candidates who are very close in applications for a job. I would also recommend putting together a portfolio if you don't already have one. What you put into it is up to you, but what I have in mind in no particular order is a copy of my nursing philosophy, and I'm going to go into more depth on nursing philosophies in another video, my CV and a copy of my statement of results, any certificates or awards and any professional memberships I might have, and it's also useful to have a printed copy of the selection criteria that you wrote for whatever job you're currently interviewing for. When it does come to job hunting, I strongly recommend that you do take a targeted approach to that. So don't just send the same basic application to hundreds of jobs because you probably won't get a great response. Think about how you can stand out and think about what this employer wants. What can you personally offer to this area of nursing practice? What about this company and their values do you also value and care about? Is there a person that you can contact to speak to about the job? Take the time, talk to them, ask questions. Job hunting is exhausting, but companies want to know that you're going to give them your best, not that you just view them as, oh, well, I guess this is all that's left. But when you're looking at job ads, also don't be put off by thinking you aren't the perfect candidate. Don't underestimate yourself. At the end of the day, from the employer's point of view, you might not be the perfect candidate, but the perfect candidate might not apply. So you might actually be the best applicant that's applied. It's about presenting yourself to be the best applicant that you can possibly be for that position. When you're looking at that list of requirements, are they essentials or are they desirable? Is it saying must have 3 years of Scrub Scout experience versus Scrub Scout experience preferred? If it's not an essential, if it's not something that you have to have, don't let it put you off. Go for it anyway. Additional training. Look, first and foremost, I really, really want to make it clear that you do not have to have any of this additional training. None of it is compulsory, and some of it is very expensive. But if you have the time and resources, these may help to make your application stand out or be more competitive, even though it feels super rubbish that you have got to pay even more money for more training to try and get a job because you don't have those skills when you come out of university. But looking into that additional training, because some of it can be very expensive, I definitely recommend thinking about what jobs are you most interested in applying for and what training is most specific for those. So I'm going to offer lots of different ideas here. I wouldn't try and do all of them because it's going to cost you so much money, but doing some of them might help you specifically with a job that you're looking to apply for. So say, for example, you've decided that you want to work in GP practice. I would highly recommend looking at potentially doing an immunisation course. And some GP employers do require that you have this before you apply for them. Others are quite happy to support you to do that training, but this can be a really useful one for that kind of primary care GP practice kind of environment. Also worth keeping in mind that once we finally have a COVID-19 vaccine, the government is going to be doing a massive amount of vaccination. So they're going to want nurses who have vaccination certifications. So that might be something that's worthwhile for you. Maybe looking into something like a wound management or care course, because GP practices can deal with a lot of chronic wounds. Something that wouldn't have been covered at all at uni but might possibly be useful is looking into doing some software training. So looking at a few Seek ads, a lot of the jobs would like you to be familiar with the best practice software package, and they do actually run an online seminar on what kind of nurses clinically need to know about that software package. If you have the time and opportunities, look into the Cutting Edge Practice Nurse Skills Training Workshop. That's a bit of a mouthful. At UWA, they don't have dates for it at the moment. They're taking registration of interest, but it's a skills workshop that is specifically aimed for grad nurses or nurses who are looking at transitioning to GP practice and some of the clinical skills that you need for that environment. So some other courses, you may also want to look into an IV cannulation or phlebotomy course. These might be useful if you're looking at, say, working for the Red Cross or GP. Now be aware, obviously, most facilities will have their own sort of cannulation competency process, but doing a course like that may give you RPL or kind of stand out on your resume. Doing your advanced life support course. Now, this is expensive. Like your ALS is a very expensive course. So I would recommend only kind of doing this if you are very focused on hospital applications, because it is specifically about life support in that kind of advanced hospital setting. So if you know you're interested in community care, this probably isn't a course worth investing. I would also recommend that you keep your CPR, basic life support, and manual handling up to date. It's with larger employers, it's often part of your orientation. They provide that training to you, but smaller employers may require that you complete this training externally, and it's useful to already have that and have it on your resume. Finally, where to go to look for jobs. I'll include sort of a few links for you down below, but all public health jobs are advertised on the Department of Health website, so that's a great place to go and look. Just type in nurse, set it to level 1, look at what jobs are available. Seek is also, it can be a great place to look for jobs. Lots of different nursing jobs are advertised on Seek. Many private hospitals and large companies will have links on their website where you can see vacancies, and you can also register your interest so that you get emails as jobs become available. And also, Facebook groups can be a great place to network, and sometimes there'll be someone there who's looking for an employee. A lot of jobs in Australia are never actually advertised. It's just someone's looking for it, they look around, someone sort of goes, oh yeah, I can do that, and responds without ever going through sort of a formal advertisement. So that can be a great opportunity to network. The end of the day, don't lose track of the fact that you have got so much to offer as a nurse. Don't get downhearted. There will be a job somewhere out there for you, and it might be a hard process, but you do have the ability to do this.